Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time to Cerius Blaq with Cerius Blaq. I am the host Cerius Blaq, and I'm here to react. And I got my homie in the studio with me today, DJ
What's
Switch
up, man?
PDX. What's up, dog?
You know, just another lovely week has gone by, and I have been itching for more XG. So
Yeah.
I'm stoked to be back and to be continuing my discovery
Let me
of
ask
this
you.
excellent pop group.
Yeah, they're pretty great. Let me ask you something. Have you looked at any of the comments on our previous videos?
A little.
Okay.
I've been trying hard not to look at the comments, just because, like,
Spoilers.
yeah, kind of, and that's the thing is, like, you know, I love it. I love it when people leave comments, and I need to be better about reading the comments. And I think the first week I responded to a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's something that I want to do more of, is go back and look through some of the old comments and stuff, because, like, I love it when people leave comments, and I hope if you're seeing this, like, please let us know what you think. Please let us know how you feel about what we're doing here, because
They are. They are. There's some spoilery information in the comments I've noticed too, but there's also people, like, especially in our last video, they're like, "Oh my God, he has no idea what's in store for him." Especially after the stuff I said in the last one, I was like, "Yeah, we'll get there though. Be patient, y'all." But one person I did want to shout out. This user here, they hit me with a little bit of information because I was confused about the order of things. Remember, I was saying that there are certain things that are pre-debut and,
yeah,
such and such. So
yeah.
I got it a little bit wrong, and they were kind enough to correct me. So shout out
Hey,
to you. Was that
you're
Jab?
trying to do everything in the right order, right? Like, you're
Jab
trying
1070.
to,
I'm trying my best. You
yeah,
know. For the music videos, it's easier to get them in the right order. But
sure,
for the stuff that was pre-debut and in between, that was
yeah.
a little confusing to me because they have these things, called comebacks. Like, they'll do a couple things, take a break, and then the comeback is when they release a whole bunch of new stuff. But they do small things in between that.
They
And
come
so,
back like Jordan.
kind of
Yeah.
wearing the 4 or 5. No, So listen, the stuff we're gonna get into today actually is after debut. But from what I understand, from what I saw here, it's in between what we saw last week and what we're going to see this week. So we're going to start today with watching Vox number 3, which, remember, this is the highlight series of the vocal line. And this will be Juria, the other main lead vocal of XG, doing a solo performance, kind of like we saw Chisa last week. And then we will be doing XG Tape 3B, which is the hip hop line. And no, I'm sorry, 3A. We're gonna do 3A. Jeez, come on, man.
Do I need to get you a whiteboard to be
Bro,
able
you need to give me a brain.
to? We'll get out some strings and some thumbtacks, and we'll start making like a murder
Right.
board just to keep track of
Then this was
where
where
everything.
that would be hilarious, actually. But tape 3A.
We don't have the budget for that. String and
Right.
thumbtacks. We can't afford that stuff.
Well, tell you what, I'll go in on the string. You get the thumbtacks, and we'll beat halfway.
I need more people on my Patreon before I can afford thumbtacks. I'm gonna be real with you.
Well, we'll get there, man. We'll get there. Speaking of which, my Patreon, for anybody watching this, there's a bunch of XG stuff on my Patreon that you can pretty much see for free if you just go over there. You can do a 7-day free trial, or my Patreon is literally $1 a month, y'all. Just, and if you like cats, go over there because I got a lot of cat photos and action figure photos, so go do that.
Nope. Who likes cats? Nobody likes cats.
Nobody
The
likes
internet.
cats.
The internet doesn't have a thing for cats.
Right.
What are you talking about?
I got 3, by the way.
He said sarcastically.
Right. But anyway, we're going to get into it now. I've got a playlist tuned up. I'm already ready to go. I've got
Nice.
Juria's video ready for us to go. And this is a song she's performing called Dear Name. This is a cover. I don't remember the original artist, but it is in the description of their video.
Okay.
Which I encourage people to also go watch this as well. I'll be putting a link to the XG videos in my video. I always do that. But
What's it called?
Dear Name.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so new vocal, new set. Let's go. I'm gonna turn it up. Look at that beautiful set.
How old is she here?
Alphas, let me know in the let us know in the comments. How old is Juria when Vox 3 comes out? Because I don't remember. But you know, all of they're still pretty young. She's like maybe 20. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why I'm asking, because this I think is the first time where I heard something that didn't completely blow me away right from the jump. Now, I say that with a couple of asterisks. First of all, her tone is incredible. Okay. She has an incredible tone. She's making fantastic choices. You know, like the performance is there, right? But I learned something playing the saxophone many, many years ago about playing slow songs. The diaphragm support for softer notes has to be just as much, if not more so, than the louder notes. And what I heard in the first maybe like 2 bars, maybe 4 bars, I'd have to go back and kind of check and kind of get a feel for the rhythm and stuff again. But I think just the first like couple of bars, she starts out extremely soft, and it sounded a little bit to me like she was not struggling. Like struggling is too strong a word. She wasn't struggling, but it did sound to me like the diaphragm support wasn't quite as much there in the first couple bars as it was once she sort of settled into the song.
Yeah.
And
so here's the thing though. I think that's intentional, to be honest, because of the song itself. But because I actually, after hearing this, I did go back and listen to the original. And it's a soft song, period. You know what? It's a build-up song. It's supposed to be whispery, soft until it isn't.
It's not about volume. It's not about intensity. Okay.
No. That's what I mean.
All of that is fantastic. What she's doing there, and I hear what she's saying, what she's doing with the build up and all that. What I'm saying is when it starts that soft, and when the sort of like the build up first gets going, what a lot of artists do is they will sort of like, they'll sort of relax the muscle a bit, the muscle of the diaphragm that's supporting the breath control. She does have breath control. So I'm not, she's still very much a professional singer here. I don't want this to be misunderstood as me, overly criticizing.
Oh no.
This is the kind of thing that, like, if I were judging a professional competition, like, it would come down to like the minute stuff like this, because like the big stuff, the easy stuff to pick apart is just not there. And that's the thing that I've noticed with XG across everything that I've seen so far, is like they have their technique nailed down, they have their choices nailed down, they clearly have the training, right? It's just, this is the first time, and I think that's why it stuck out to me, is that this is the first time that I've heard something where I go, that could use more diaphragm support in the first few notes. Okay. And so the reason why I asked how old she is because the thing about diaphragm support is it's part of the muscle group that you need to control when you're singing. And if she's young, which we know she is, she may not have been alive long enough to develop the kind of diaphragm that I'm talking about, right? So this is not a fault, okay? And I know XG fans are passionate, and I know alphas are gonna come for me in the comments probably for saying this, but the reality is, what I'm talking about is not anyone's fault. It's the simple fact that she could train all day, every day for her entire life, which she probably has, and still not have developed her diaphragm to the point of a professional singer that's in their 30s or 40s. That's been doing it, an extra 10 years longer than she has.
I mean, I could say, I think I could understand what you're saying, because there's a big difference between like young Luther Vandross and older Luther Vandross. Okay. I get
it. Yeah.
I get it now.
So that's that, and that's all I'm saying is like that's what jumped out as weird to me is like it took something like that for me to find something and go, oh, that didn't stand out to me as perfect. Right.
Also, I went back a little bit just so we can go. No, you made a good point, but also she's adorable and.
Oh no, the look is solid. The set is incredible. I love the soft lighting. You know, it feels very it almost feels kind of soapy. But like in a good way.
Juria is kind of like the Disney princess of the group. Like at any moment you expect like a cartoon bird to show up and just land on the head, you know?
Yeah.
Which is funny because it would probably also terrify her. Because she's also a scaredy cat, and it's crazy. Anyway,
little squirrel jumps up onto the chair and says hi.
It's funny. It's funny he should say that, right, Alphas? It's funny he should say that. Anyway, we'll get there. All right, I went back a little bit. Let's continue, and please, feel free to call out anything else.
Actually, can I actually just ask you? We start the whole thing over?
Yeah.
Can we just start from the top?
Yeah, let's do it. We'll do it right here.
Yes, that's gorgeous. Yeah, vibrato solid. Like it's all there. I think she's just a couple years.
You'll see.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. All right, let's pause it real quick.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I want to apologize. My dog's freaking out over absolutely nothing, and I don't know what he's doing. There's no one here. I don't know what he's barking at. But here's what I'm hearing now, right?
Okay.
So as opposed to the first couple of beats of the song, she's clearly comfortable here in this range, and the big thing that's jumping out at me now is actually the production team. I had called out a couple of videos ago about the auto tune, like early on, like I think it was like the first two videos or something.
It was Peaches, the first Vox one.
It felt like there was too much auto tune, almost like there was a lack of trust on the production side.
Yeah,
and I said what I said in that video was, these performers don't need that. because they're good enough to do without that.
Right.
And now what I'm hearing in this one is they seem to have figured out the balance a lot better. I am not hearing the auto-tune. What I'm hearing is much more of her natural voice. And I can tell that the auto-tune has either been backed off or removed completely because I'm hearing the small changes in pitch. I'm hearing the little fluctuations. One of the ways you can kind of tell that auto-tune is cranked a little too high is when she is using her natural vibrato and the auto-tune's trying to correct the vibrato. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can hear that shit if you know what you're listening for. And I'm hearing an incredibly beautiful vibrato here. That's, you know, like her natural vibrato and her natural control, especially over the long notes and stuff. Like she obviously, you know, obviously the talent is there. Obviously the training is there. I keep saying that because like it's really what's jumping out at me is like how young they are and how precise they are in their training. Yeah. And so, you know, while I had one small note about like, you know, in a couple of years, her diaphragm will be stronger and she'll be able to support those low notes at the top of the song. You know, like I said, it was only the first couple of notes. She's already way past that point in the song, and she's clearly very comfortable.
Spoiler alert: she does.
Yeah, dude, well, listen, she's what, 20? Like she's, you know,
honestly, I don't know how old she is in this, but I know they're young. Everybody's young to me. I'm old, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, but that's and here's the thing. That's something that literally everyone deals with. I was a sound engineer in college for a 16 voice jazz choir, and it was all 19, 20, 21, 22 year olds, you know? And so like this was a thing that I listened to our director like hammer home with our singers a lot. And so this isn't just me, you know, pulling some comments out of my backside, man. Like I'm telling you, this is a thing that singers deal with when they're around this age, no matter how much training they've had. Like there's only so much you can train when at the end of the day, like you physically haven't had enough time on this earth to develop the muscles to the point where like you have the level of control that you could. And not in
that area anyway, because that takes a different type of exercise and training.
It develops over time, and unfortunately with things like that, time is the only way to get there. You know, and so like honestly, if that's the worst thing I've said so far about any of these performances, then I think we're doing fine.
Oh no, we're good. That
is such a minor thing to make mention of, but like, you know, it's so far it's the only one I've been able that's really jumped out at me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to see how you feel by the end of this too. So let's keep going.
Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, she doesn't need that auto-tune. The delay on that was so sick.
I'm like, they like just teased us all the way up until that point.
Hey, back it up like 20 seconds.
Okay.
I want to hear that top note again. Yeah.
This is now we're gonna go back for right.
There.
What hit you?
So when she hit that big loud crescendo note, and then she cut it off, and you could hear that delay trail in the effects. It's interesting because so when I said interesting, what I was responding to while we were watching that first run through was you could kind of see in her face like she's thinking through, you know, some of the phrasing, and like you know, you don't see it as much when they're dancing. You don't see it as much with the faster paced, more upbeat stuff.
Yeah.
But you can really see it on her face when she's performing this like slower ballad type stuff. You can see her kind of processing in real time, like how to take on the next phrase, how to
exactly.
You know what? To the next section. Yeah.
Let me interject something there too, because I think alphas, don't beat me up in the comments, but I think the original song that she's covering, right, is a Korean song. So she's singing this in Korean, which is her second language.
Okay. Yeah, so she might even be like thinking through the translation and stuff, like on top of everything else. Which honestly, if her brain is split in like 5 directions while she's trying to sing this freaking song, like that just makes it more impressive, honestly.
Correct me if I'm wrong, alphas in the comments. I think that's what I learned, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
We had when I was working for the choir in college, we had a couple of songs that were in Spanish, and you could kind of like people were really working to figure out the translation because like half the group didn't even.
Of it, yeah.
Yeah, half the group didn't speak Spanish at all. Like they never took like high school Spanish, right? But then of the half that didn't take Spanish at all, like they could learn the lyrics. And they could try to do the work to like understand the song as part of the process of like learning the song to be able to perform it. But it still is a struggle when you're trying when you don't speak the language natively and you're trying to process in real time. And so, you know, like it makes a few things forgivable. Not that there was really much to forgive because that was such a great performance. Like I said, outside of the first couple of notes, like the rest was just flawless, basically. The other thing I want to make a note about. So part of the reason why that delay effect trail stood out to me on that crescendo note, is that they are sort of recreating in studio a technique that was developed by David Bowie. And a lot of folks don't know this. Okay. But one of the things that made David Bowie so prolific was that he would play with the technology in the 70s. He would play around with microphones and studio technology. He would he would order like miles of cable so that he could run around the studio and plug in microphones all over the place and then run it back to the main board in the main control room, right? And so one of the things that Bowie famously did was create basically an environment where he had a long hallway in this studio and he had a microphone right in front of his face and then another microphone that was down the hallway a few feet, 10 feet or something, 20 feet. And so when he was singing softly, he was singing into the microphone right in front of his face and it sounded like one microphone. Right. But then as he got louder and louder, he started singing more and more and projecting more and more in his voice. And the second microphone would pick up his voice. And in order to keep the two microphones sort of separate from each other and not let them bleed over too much until the time came, they employed something called a gate. on that second microphone. And a gate is something in recording that, or in like microphone technology, that like anything that is under a specific noise level, a specific decibel level, the microphone will just shut off completely. So, right? It's like a mute button, but it's an automatic mute button. And so when it gets over a certain decibel level, that mute button opens up that microphone, and now the microphone can pick up what it's hearing. And so what Bowie did was put one microphone in front of his face, another one way down the hallway. And when he started getting louder, that second microphone, the gate would trip on the decibel level or whatever that they set it to. And that second gate had like, or that second mic had like, you know, a bunch of reverb and a bunch of effects and a bunch of stuff that the first mic didn't. And so
you think that's what they did here?
It's kind of what they were replicating. Now I don't think she was singing into a hallway because we have better technology now.
Yeah.
But this is something Bowie invented in the 70s, man.
Yeah.
And now we have the ability with modern digital technology to go, okay, I want this section of this recording to be dry and clean and soft for the sort of softer parts of the song. And then as she gets louder and louder, the engineer can go, okay, I'm going to take this section and I'm going to apply some reverb. I'm going to apply some delay. I'm going to apply some echo. I'm going to put effects on this to make it sound bigger and make it sound more grand and more like verbose. You know, as the song gets bigger and bigger. And then so that's why we get that big crescendo note. We hear the echo off of the crescendo. And then as soon as she drops back down to the soft part to the end of the song, that echo is no longer there. And you can tell it's no longer there because all you can hear is her voice.
Oh. Well, I'll be damned. I learned something new today.
So we went to watch an XG video and we learned something about David Bowie today.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're also David Bowie fans too. So, you know,
I mean, possibly. Now that's just one technique that he invented. He invented a few others, you know, like he was pretty like known for pushing the boundaries of what you could do with recording technology in the 70s in very similar ways to the way that the Beatles would do the same thing. They were very forward thinking in how they could sort of like push the technology in ways that it wasn't designed for.
I think Bowie, though, from what I know of Bowie, though, also would have picked up stuff like that because he hung around the disco, punk, and even hip hop communities before a lot of other artists did, and they were like Roger and Zapp and Grandmaster Flash were all messing around with technology like that too. Yeah, so.
Oh, dude,
I wouldn't be surprised. But no, we're not going to get into that.
I'll just say, all I'm going to say is I could do a solid hour on Grandmaster Flash easy.
Yeah.
That guy invented all kinds of crazy nonsense.
Yeah. But we'll do another episode about that specifically. But
not today, today.
So we don't get too long. Let's get into, we're about to transition now into XG tape 3A, which is 210s.
Okay.
And this is featuring Harvey and Maya. Just two of them this time.
Okay. And a school bus.
This is their version of another song called 210s that I think was Lecrae and Anderson .Paak.
Okay.
But this is Harvey and Maya, so let's get into it. What am I doing? There we go. Come on, hit the button. There we go. You ready?
Ready when you are.
Let's go.
That 808, man.
Harvey. Maya.
Two twins and we both tens on the mic. Two little Asians, like what's all the hype? Fake the last tape and no crumbs left tonight. Cause we got what it takes to rock the mic right. XG pushing XP, breaking boundaries. Hit different, build different, new breed. The duo dynamic wreak havoc on the scene. Maya Harvey be getting busy like Boney Harmony. Top tier, that's a big dream, probably elderly. So what we doing? Make a big
shout out Busy Bone.
But honestly, there's no such thing as mediocre heat. The nerve on these girls tryna pop if on a Jacob beat. Only good vibes with the negative energy. I can do these so they know check till infinity. I tell us
hold on. Let me explain to the audience. The reason why he made that face with the when they said J. Cole is because Switch and I just finished talking about J. Cole on our other show. On our other show, This Week in Vinyl. We talk about vinyl releases and stuff like that, and we were talking about covering J. Cole, and I was like, let's skip him for right now.
Yeah, we didn't call him out by name on the show, but that's like, if you watch that episode and I say I'm not going to name who, but this guy had a bad controversy, we decided not to cover it.
Yeah.
Spoiler, that's who we were talking about was J. Cole. Literally an hour ago.
Yeah. And it's not a diss, obviously, to we're not dissing J. Cole's rhyming ability, but him as a person has some questions. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, but and so I think but just to be clear, because I know alphas are a passionate bunch, that was absolutely nothing to do with XG and the lyric choice and the performance there. It was just the mention of J. Cole and the fact that we just had that conversation an hour ago just kind of made me cringe.
Well, here's the funny thing, because we did talk about it in our last episode, but the reason they're saying that was a reference to Tape 2, because one of the beats that they rhymed over was a J. Cole beat. Right.
Okay. Got it. That makes sense.
So here we go.
Also, shout out Busy Bone.
Right.
Bone Thugs for life, man.
Pick the last tape, then no problems left tonight, cause we got what it takes to rock the mic right. XG pushing XP, breaking boundaries. Hit different, build different, new breed. The duo dynamic wreak havoc on the scene. Maya Harvey be getting busy like Boney nominee. Top tier, that's a big G, probably actually. So what we doing? Make a big man, but do it unbelieve. But honestly, there's no such thing as mediocre heat. The nerve on these girls tryna pop if on a Jacob beat. Only good vibes, none of the negative energy. I can do these so they no cap till infinity. Atarashi keshiki demonstration what's listening. Stick with the shots, stick down wig when I'm killing it. Stats jacking immaculately, super sane slaying it. 마타기로 level 쓰고 투기 not a lazy. 폰대를 보여줘 팍대 고개 대박.
The writing is solid, man.
Two twins and we both tens on the mic. 두 동양 꼬맹이들 뭐가 그리 нал리. Pick the last tape, execute 먹방함, cause we got what it takes to rock the mic right. Two twins and we both tens on the mic. 우치라니 맛다스려 난 너무 닮은 나이. 다 bets 구수비 난 모노코스
I'm gonna have this stuck in my head.
What it takes to rock the mic right. Look, two tens, tag team, double trouble. Pre-GODs, that means we on the come up. Still shooting stars, bang bang, keep shining on them. That's my ride or die, myself plus I got 5 on it. I said two tens, times that we keep it 110 out of 10. We ain't doing nothing less than perfect. That's the purpose, 내 몸마다 조쇼하지 맞다바까. Subliminal kids and trying to hurt, no finish to lace the shoe fits. Two tens or cool kids, they don't nobody too clueless. Who can do this? 이 방금 못하는 주제들과 부러져. Roughnecks plus wig shop, cause the rockets rock suplex. I'm too blessed to the YouTube reactions, who got the juice? Two twins and we both tens on the mic. Two little Asians, like what's all the hype? We ate the last tape, then no crumbs left tonight, cause we got what it takes to rock the mic right.
Solid. You might even say I would give it a 10. I mean, no notes, man.
Yeah.
No notes there.
One of my favorite lines in here is, and this is me being a comic book hip hop head, and a lot of people don't catch it, but she says, I can do this all day, no cap to infinity.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, yo, that Avengers Captain America reference is slept on. That shit is, that's nice.
On your left. On
right?
your left.
Because everybody gets, well, not everybody. I've seen a lot of people not miss the Busy Bone reference. They missed the Loonies I Got 5 on it reference. But no, I like this solid, it's a good way to pay homage. And that's one of the things that a lot of people talk about with XG is that even though they operate within the K-pop realm, they're not K-pop, right? Like we talked about that.
Right.
But they're one of the only groups that I've seen out there that actually pay homage to where they got their style from, where K-pop will vastly ignore it all the time and try to dismiss the fact that they got a lot of stuff from obvious places. Anyway, but XG does not do that. So that was Harvey and Maya doing 2 tens on tape 3A. Next week, we'll do 3B, which will be Cocona and Jurin.
Okay.
and then we'll have some more stuff like that. But now we are going to get into their music video Shooting Star. And this is that moment I was telling you about where, we saw Tippy Toes, right? Mm-hmm. The debut, and then we saw Mascara. Mm-hmm. It was after that they took a break. So Shooting Star is where they come back.
Wait, so they
time off.
They had 2 songs and then took time off?
Well, they did 2 songs and dance practices, and then all of these little things like this, the Voxes, the tapes, all that. Right, there was these little videos like that in between the next actual album release.
Interesting.
Because this stuff is not on the album because this is not theirs. This is just them having fun on the internet and playing homage and putting out material.
Yeah, okay.
So the next thing we're about to see is their official song on their album, Shooting Star.
Okay.
And I want you to think about what you saw in Tippy Toes, and I want you to think about what you saw in Mascara. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to see Shooting Star. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of alphas have been waiting for you to get to this.
Man, just play the damn video. Don't.
All right, I'm just play. Shut up, Cerius. Play the fuck song, man. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna push that. Okay, I gotta pause it. Yeah, I didn't want no spoilers. Are you ready?
No.
Okay.
But we're gonna do it anyway. Let's go.
I'll turn that on. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything I do a A1, flawless. Make them go insane, pandemonium, riot. Always looking fresh, got the green in my diet. Head to my toe, shining like canary diamonds. Yeah, freedom cool kiss, not into it. Going stupid, saucy. We have movement, never losing. Make you move, stay poppin'.
Interesting. Oh wow.
It's amazing. It's so out of this world. I'm in space now. I'm going up, heading to the stars. We done tread it up for another life. No, yeah, we riding on. So shining for sure. Ooh, I am looking so lavish. Ooh, I put it work like it's a habit. It's a big move. Every day's like a dream. Making big moves. Yeah, we do it for a team. You can imagine. Don't need a stunt, cause we coolin' suit and booty just for fun. You couldn't run up on me, I'm too out of this world. I got that spaceship jumping ready for my lunch. I don't care for my bread, I'm just going dumb. I ain't tryna fire shots, but they do it long. I know they're watching me, I'm on a wannabe. Nobody touching me, I got this energy.
This looks expensive. Rockin' with a dream team. Calm is dropping when we hit the scene. Oh, you're rockin' with a dream team. We're shooting from another galaxy. And you know we take it all the way. Lights and camera action is just how we live. Don't get it twisted, it's them time, babe. Just know that she's going on.
Okay.
Man, so one of the big things that jumped out to me was the way that they were playing around with aspect ratio in the the footage. They were jumping from 16:9, which is the sort of full screen what you're seeing here. At one point, I think during the first chorus, they switched to like more of an anamorphic, like 133. And then right before that, 133 anamorphic. See right there. You see how the bottom of the video cuts off around where the icons are on the YouTube thing. And then like so that's more of an anamorphic, right? But then if you skip ahead, you'll see the bottom of the video drop down to below those icons. You can even skip all the way to the end.
Oh. Okay. Well, I just went all the way back to the beginning. So
yeah, no, but so there's that, and then before the chorus, there was a section that was like in 4:3 right there.
Yeah.
And that's more like old television. Like it gives it kind of like an older TV vibe. And so like the thing that really jumped out at me, not only was it that they were playing around with different aspect ratios, was a very modern take on digital video. But it's a style that's really kind of gotten more common just in the last like 6 months to a year. So like, and I know
this is a couple years old.
I know, that's what I'm saying. This predates that. So like you see it more and more on YouTube now, in the last year or so. But this is before all of that. They were playing around with aspect ratio and playing around with like different styles of digital video capture, which I think is really fascinating. Because there's filmmakers that have been doing this, right? Much more so, like YouTube has been the last year or so, before YouTube started doing it, like filmmakers were doing it, where they were, certain movies were being shot in different aspect ratios depending on the scene. And so that was one of the big things that jumped out at me was the way that they were sort of playing with not just the vibe of the scene through the context of like the set pieces or the costumes, but also with the aspect ratio of the video itself, which I think is really, really fascinating and extremely progressive.
Okay. Is this kind of thing that if you ever want to hear something for a second time, just say that. That's fine. I don't mind. People also don't mind. It happens a lot. So, what did you think of the song itself and I don't know.
I mean, so like the thing that I kept coming back to as I was watching and listening to this is, and honestly, I think this might be actually the biggest compliment I can give. It made me miss being on stage with my group. I was in our drummer moved away, and I was in a group with an MC and a drummer, and the three of us would play live hip hop shows. We've opened for some pretty incredible acts that have come through Portland. And my MC during the pandemic got into what's called sync licensing. And so a lot of that is studio work, but his studio work has been contracted by, NBA, NFL, Adidas, Nike, Coke, Pepsi, there's actually he hates talking about it because he for some reason he's embarrassed by this, but I don't care. I'm gonna talk about it because I didn't sign nothing. He wrote a song. It was like a hip hop song that was purchased by the producers from Monsters High. And one of the episodes of Monsters High, there's like a bunch of mermaids that are rapping, like they do a rap song, a bunch of mermaids. He wrote that. And then they licensed it from him and had their own performers re-record it in their own character voices and stuff. But so like he's done some work like that since the pandemic. And so we haven't done a lot of live shows since the pandemic because he's been mostly focused on that, and it's really taken him to some incredible places. I'm so proud of my boy Mighty. Watching this video makes me miss being on stage with Mighty and our drummer Dave and the three of us, kind of rocking, like a hip hop band. Right. So
anything else you want to say before we move on to
That's the thing, man. Like there was some.
It doesn't have to be a critique.
Well, no, that's no. That's what I'm saying is there was some technical stuff that jumped out at me that I already made a comment on. It made me feel like I miss being on stage with my boys, but other than that, like it was a really great song. Like the song was great, the performances were great, the dance routines were great. Like I just didn't have any other notes. So
okay. Well, we're actually going to finish up with the choreography for this same song, so you're going to get to hear it again anyway.
And I don't mind that at all. I really like that they took the time to film just the choreography stuff, because then you get a better look at, because there's so much nuance in dance routines, especially as a group dance routine, that gets lost in the artistic vision of a video like this. And so them having the forethought to like put up a tripod in a dance studio and just shoot the dance routine, like that's kind of awesome.
Actually, no, this will be different.
Okay.
You'll see.
Okay.
But this, I love like doing these scene by scene for these videos.
Yeah.
Cause like, look at this.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like every time the camera cuts away, something else crazy jumps on screen. There's and when she hit the star, like she had and they were like, I immediately, my brain went to Rainbow Road, man. Like, now I'm thinking about Mario Kart. Then I'm thinking about like, dystopian future. And then I'm thinking about, Jet Set Radio. And then I'm thinking about, like it just every different scene that they shot for this. And that's at one point I said, this looks expensive. Like, cause I noticed all the different sets and all the different outfits and all the different like craziness that went into making this video. But hey, it worked, man. It's a great piece of work. I'd be proud of it if I had anything to do with it. So,
all right, look at Juria.
Come on, you giving them the pause face though. Like that's not fair.
Right.
You gotta,
No, this is funny. All right, let's move on to the choreography video they did for this one, which is different from the ones you've seen in the past.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just go.
Second music video?
It's like, it's a choreography video. So that you can see more of just that.
Yeah.
Let me turn this up though.
Make them go insane. Pandemonium, riot. Always looking fresh, got the green in my diet. Head to my toe, shining like canary diamonds. Yeah, freedom cool kiss, not into it. Going stupid, saucy. We are movement, never losing. Make you move, stay poppin'. Giving my all, will it pay off?
So that's Chisa.
Oh, wild. So they shot a whole second video.
Yeah.
I mean, the first video was like 37 videos in one to begin with. And now we're getting a whole second video. That's crazy, man.
That's Hinata in the middle.
Don't need a stunt, cause we cool and suit and booty just for fun. You couldn't run up on me, I'm too out of this world. I got that spaceship jumping ready for my lunch. I don't care for my bread, I'm just going dumb. I ain't tryna fire shots, but they do it now. Watching me, I'm on a wannabe. Nobody touching me, I got this energy.
That UV work is crazy. I kind of wonder how they shot that. Man, remember when airbrush t-shirts were a thing? Holy 2001, Batman.
You finally, okay, I was wondering if you was going to say something because that is the whole aesthetic for this.
Yeah.
that is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. No, this all feels like, Missy Elliott meets Christina Aguilera meets You know, like this is all very early 2000s vibe, like Y2K's vibe, which, you know, like I dig it. I dig it a lot. I mean, that was kind of my era, man. Like I turned 16 in the year 2000 and got my driver's license, and like I graduated high school in '02, right? So like that whole time period of like 98 to, I want to say, like 2005, like that's when most of my artistic influence and most of my like cultural influence was really kind of like taking root for me, and I was making that transition from being a teenager to being an adult, you know.
Word up. No, I feel that.
So that was kind of the last, like the last sort of carefree era for me before, you know, responsibilities and adult stuff started to set in.
That makes sense. Let me ask you something, okay? And this is something I'm very curious about when it comes to this. I've watched a lot of reactions to this song, specifically myself. And so how do you feel with this being this after seeing Tippy Toes and Mascara?
I think it shows range. And that's the really important thing to me. And part of what makes me a fan of XG specifically is the range of styles and genres and different techniques and talents that it takes to be able to deliver at this level on all those different styles. So many bands find what works and then
do that.
Keep doing that until they can afford to try stuff. Like that's the thing. It's, you know, it's like like Linkin Park is a good example of a band who like found a thing that worked and then did that for a couple of albums until they became friggin' bajillionaires, and then they started trying stuff, right?
Right.
And some of it worked, some of it didn't. Hate me all you want, Linkin Park fans. Minutes to Midnight was shit. But I say that as like one of the world's biggest Linkin Park fans. Like, aside from that album, I loved everything else they did. But you know, it's really, really, I think that's the thing that maybe folks don't necessarily appreciate when they watch stuff like this. They see this and they go, oh, they have a lot of different tastes. And yes, that's true, but also it is so hard to operate on this level in this many different ways, in different styles, because every time they try a different style of music or every time they try a different approach, like, you know, from the ballad to the hip hop to the dancey, you know, pop stuff, like it all takes a different skill set. And I think that's the most incredible thing so far about XG is that they have nailed every single one of them, and they're all completely different. And that's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
You know, it's not that this song jumps out at me more than, say, Tippy Toes.
Yeah.
To me, as a 30-year professional musician and DJ, like they all are songs to me. Okay, like I have heard pop music.
Yeah.
I know what pop music sounds like. You know, like more than most. Let's say.
Yeah.
And so like the way that I think about music and the way that I process performances and stuff is different than a lot of people, because I can't help but look at something like this or listen to something like this and I hear the techniques and I hear the, you know, the muscle control and I hear the breath control and I hear things like auto tune, and I can hear like the auto tune fighting against the vibrato versus, you know, the softer piece that we heard at the beginning of the video today, where like she very clearly not only did she not have autotune, but the more I was thinking about it, the more I was realizing she probably recorded that live. Like,
I think they did.
Like,
yeah.
Like that one, I think more so than some of the other ones that we've heard, not just from XG, but some of the other, you know, solo video efforts that I've seen from other artists. Like that one, I think very well could have been recorded with live cam, and I think that microphone might have been live that she was holding, because I was hearing things that were not bad, but probably an engineer would have, like, you know, tried to go back and do it again in a studio environment. And instead of doing that, they just kind of did it in one take. And when you do stuff in one take, it takes on a bit of a different character, not good or bad, just different. And I think that's part of what I was hearing.
It's funny he should say that, huh, Alphas? Oh my God. Like every week you say something in here that I know is going to drive the Alphas crazy, not in a bad way that they can be mad at you. They just know what's coming. and they know that like when you see it, you're gonna be like, oh shit, okay, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Okay.
I know we're getting to the end of the video here, and my hope is not that the alphas come away thinking that I'm like above all this or that I'm, you know, smarter than anybody or any of that nonsense. All I know is as a guy who's been doing music for a very long time and has been doing it professionally for a very long time, you know, what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing like makes sense to me, and I hope that it comes off as you know, respectful and technical. And
I think so.
And when I dive into the nuance and the little details, and you know, when I talk about things like diaphragm development, you know, like that is such a minuscule, tiny little piece. And I hope that what they're taking away from that is I have so much appreciation and respect for the rest of it that it warrants that level of attention to that minute of a detail.
Bro, you're not in any trouble, I promise. Okay.
Well,
I
don't. I mean, it's the internet, man. We'd like, you know, the internet's going to internet. But
all I'm saying is that you say things sometimes that it's like, it's very relevant to what you're going to see in the future. And I know that they want you to see it right now, but I'm like I'm making you wait so we can do this journey together.
Well, and listen, just call me Nostradamus, and
Nostradamus. That's a new clothing brand. Anyway,
trademark,
right?
Hashtag Nostradamus.
We are eventually going to watch the documentary as well.
Please don't let that be a thing on the internet. I do not want to be called Nostradamus.
Hey, you did it, Doug. You did it.
I'm never going to live that down now.
We will be watching a documentary, Alphas. That one will be exclusive to my Patreon, though, because, like, you know, that one gets a little funky on YouTube. So if you want to see me and Switch react to, you know, the XG documentary, it'll be on Patreon. And, you know, we might do that in the next couple of weeks because it is about time where he learned from their mouth and not all of ours how they started, so he can see it for himself. And it'll probably explain a lot of things, including what you just talked about with Juria's performance, because they document a lot of stuff.
I'm super into that, dude. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's finish off this dance performance, though. Here we go.
Please.
Look at this young, long-haired Cocona. I love this part. It's so precise.
Yeah.
We're shooting from another galaxy. Ain't no you take it all the way. Lights and camera action is just how we live. Don't get it twisted, this can play. Just know that XG's going on.
And that note. Hold up, I gotta say something. I think it was that note right there when I got into Shooting Star. Look, don't get me wrong, officers. Don't get mad at me, okay? I love Tippy Toes and I liked Mascara, you know. But for me, it was this moment in Shooting Star when I hear the background vocals by Juria that made me go like, "Oh, I need to pay attention to her more."
Yeah,
because I didn't see Vox number 3 until after Shooting Star. And then I went and started looking for more Juria things to understand, because you know she's our soft little Risu. I'll tell you what that means later. And then
I think I have an idea.
But I was like, oh man, homegirl just looks shy. she got a little bit of a diva in her, you know. Yeah. So sorry, I want to hear that one more time. Don't get it to say this can play. Just know that XG is going on. And I love Harvey on the chorus. I love Harvey and her like voice, or her unique voice on the chorus of that.
Dude, okay. Like, it's so hard. It's so hard to coordinate 4 or 5 voices in a standard girl pop group.
Yeah.
Like an Asian pop group like this you have 7 voices in the mix, is like, it's just every voice you add just adds to the complexity, not only of the sound, but like when you're coordinating everybody, like how do you get control over like who does what when, and so that they're not stepping on each other. And like I think that's another thing that's just so impressive about this group, is that they are all working so hard to make sure that everybody's voice fits without it feeling muddy or congested.
Yeah, because I've definitely heard that too. And like, honestly, I don't think I really got it until I started watching some of the live stuff. Because like, first, when you're at the beginning of XG, it is 7 people to try to remember who is who, first of all, and then trying to find a distinctiveness between each voice as well. Because like, I can pick them out in the dark with my eyes closed in a dungeon in the water at this point.
So you're what you're saying is you're a fan.
A little bit.
Little bit.
But at first, I was like, wait, who was that? Well, who was that? Who did that? Because they do a lot of ad libs, and then there's like, but here's the thing, right? They do this thing that like kind of throws, for me anyway, and Alphas, you can tell me if this is, if you agree. They do this thing where in the group they say like, this is the main vocalist, right? And this is the other main vocalist, and this person's a rapper, right? But then you be listening to something that's like, no, that's 7 voices clearly singing. So like, that's the rapper?
Could be. Could be.
Right? Like, wait, do you mean like that's so it's
I mean most bands have somebody doing lead and somebody doing backup. And so if the rappers are solid enough singers that they can do backup, then they get to be one of the 7. That's all it takes sometimes.
I feel like as I've watched, no, that's spoilery. I'll shut up now. Never mind. Anyway, that's it for today, Alpha Slack Pack. Anybody watching this, do me a favor, y'all. I really want y'all to understand, first of all, DJ Switch's background. Like, I know he talked about his history a little bit, but I want y'all to understand he really has been a DJ and in the music business for a long time, and that's the reason I brought him on this show. That I could have you shush. I'm talking.
All right.
I have shown other people XG. You know that. You've seen my playlist, right? But I wanted somebody with a more technical background to be able to add to that, because we haven't had that in the past. A lot of us get captivated by like the music, the sound, the style, the fashion, and all that. But like having somebody who could talk about the video aspect and all that, whatever, is also good too, while also being appreciative of that. But not only that, I want you also to go over and see what I've been doing on his channel. If you haven't already, I need y'all to go over and look at this right here. Let me go back to over here. This is our show, or this is his show, to be honest. He's going to say it's our show, but let me tell you something, okay? This is his show that he invited me on to be as a co-host, and I've been over there just hanging out and having fun on This Week in Vinyl, which comes up every Monday on his channel, and it's a show where him, as a DJ, like, picks out all these cool vinyl record releases that he presents to me, that he like gives me information about, or sometimes I have a suggestion, but we're vinyl collectors too. So if you're a vinyl collector, especially, get over there. And at some point on the show over there, I'm going to show him my XG records because he hasn't seen them. But I want to wait until we get a little bit further, but I want him to see what I have physical copy of. So
I will say real quick, we started doing this XG thing right about the same time we started doing This Week in Vinyl, and I have been purposely looking for XG records. Like I've been watching for an XG record release so that we can talk about it on This Week in Vinyl, because the show is about new records that are coming out every week. And so the minute I find out that there's an XG record coming, we're going to talk about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're going to talk about it.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's all I want to say, y'all. Check us both out. Follow us both on Instagram. All the links will be in the description. I'll link this show at the end of this video, and my playlist, and the Patreon, and all that other stuff that I'm supposed to do as a YouTuber. Okay, so shout out to y'all. We're going to get out of here for today. We're looking forward to next week. You know what's coming, so you better be back for that. Go say hi to DJ Switch and say hi to him in the comments. And with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Switch, give him a peace.
Peace out, y'all. One love to all the alphas out there.
All right. Be safe. Stay dangerous. I'm out, y'all.